Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a video all about my favorite brushes. Now, I wanted to make a video like this because I know when I first started really getting into makeup and wanting to start buying brushes, and even now, I really like watching these videos to kind of see what other people are using and what's good out there. So I decided to compile a list of my favorite brushes that I cannot live without. So these are all like my holy grail brushes that if I'm doing a makeup look, I will reach for these almost every single time. And I hope that this video helps you find some brushes to help build up your collection. So if you want to see all of my favorite brushes, just keep on watching. So the first thing that I have to mention is the Real Technique sponge. I've never personally used a beauty blender, but this works to me. It's just the same. I have never had a problem with this one. I have gone through so many of these. They last for a good month or two, and so you're only spending, I think they're like on rollback right now at Walmart for like $4.50, so you gotta go get you one. So this blends out your foundation, your concealer, and it just blends it out seamlessly. And I like to get it damp beforehand, and that just allows it not to suck up all of your product, but it does help absorb any excess product. So if you go a little heavy-handed, this will be your best friend. Now, the next two brushes are for concealer and for foundation. The first one is the Morphe E25, which is just this double-ended, pointed, tapered blending brush. The bigger side is just this big, tapered, and it's pretty dense. I really like this getting underneath the eyes. It's just a really good brush. I like using this one on clients as well. So I have another one that I use for clients, and it works really well to blend out concealer. Now, I have kind of gotten on trend with this whole cream contour thing. I have found that I am using the smaller end a lot more often to kind of blend out nose contour. So this is really good for any kind of concealer, cream contour, anything to do with those kinds of techniques. So blending out concealer and cream contour, I recommend the E25 by Morphe. Now, when I first bought this brush, I used it religiously, and then I got into, the Real Technique sponge, and then I hadn't touched it for months, and I have just recently picked it back up again and have kind of tossed the sponge to the side for a minute, and it's the Morphe M439, which is just big blending brush. It's really dense. This brush blends out foundation so flawlessly, and I'm not even kidding, I woke up one morning and was so close to being late to work. I did my makeup in a total of 2 minutes, and it's because of this guy. And it's the only buffing brush that I have found that doesn't like exfoliate my skin when I blend with it. I find that I was really turned off by these dense blending brushes because I have really dry skin, and I found that the denser brushes kind of exfoliated that dead skin. But I haven't had that problem with this one, and I've kept up with my skincare a lot more regularly, so that helps as well. But my favorite foundation brush, hands down, is the Morphe M439. Hands down, my favorite kind of blush brush, contour brush, you name it, is an angled brush like this. Now, it's synthetic fibered, I do believe. Now, every Christmas season, Walmart comes out with brush sets to give us like gifts, and I bought one for myself just to try it out because I was like, okay, Walmart doesn't normally sell these, any other time, so let me try them out. And I've had this one for a year. It is a Walmart brush, and it's still fully intact. The bristles are so soft, and this is the brush that I reach for every single time I do my makeup. And I like this for contouring, for bronzing, for blush. You can even use it for highlight, for powder. I just think an angled brush like this is so versatile, and I mean, I can't live without one. Now, since I know you can't get this one that is like identical is the Morphe R4. I actually just recently bought this during their Cyber Monday or Black Friday sale, I can't remember, but it's part of the Rose Gold collection, and it's exactly the same thing. It's an angled blush brush, so I know I'm gonna love this. I specifically bought this one for my kit though, since I stick to using this one, so any kind of angled blush brush, these are my top two. The Morphe R4 and then this random cheapo Walmart brush. This one is my favorite. But if you want to get one just like it, get the Morphe R4. As I said earlier, I've been kind of into cream contouring, and my all-time favorite cream contour brush is the Real Techniques Sculpting brush. I've recently started cream contouring with like a darker concealer. I went really ham with the concealer and made it real sharp, but it's due to this guy. So this one blends out the cream contour because it's angled, but it's really dense, so it's really gonna fit in the pocket of the cheek and just blend everything out so nicely. So if you are into cream contouring, I recommend getting the Real Techniques Sculpting brush. Now for powder contour, to get that really chiseled cheek, my favorite brush is the Morphe M5 and so this one is just, it's almost like it's pinched on the side, and it kind of fans out at the top, but it's just this little, it's so cute. I love this brush, but it's perfect for getting into the hollows of the cheeks and giving you that really sculpted contour, super quick and easy to use, and you can just get right there on the tips of the forehead, you know, down the sides of the nose, because it is, you know, smaller, so I like to kind of pinch it and just kind of go on the sides of the nose. So this is really good for powder contour. It's hands down my favorite. Now, my all-time favorite highlight brush is the Luxy 522 tapered highlight brush. It's just like a tapered fluffy brush. It's like a giant blending brush like that you would normally use on your eyes, but it's for the face. And this just applies the perfect amount of product. It doesn't overdo it, and it's fluffy, so you can blend it out and just go everywhere, all over the face. It's what I use today. It's just the one that I will reach for every single time I want to highlight. Now onto eye brushes. So the first one is the MAC 224. Everybody and their mother has this brush, and it's because it's amazing. So it's just this big fluffy blending brush. It's probably the biggest blending brush I have for the eyes. It's the biggest one I will go in on my eyes personally, just because I don't have huge eyes, but this just fits right there, and it just blends out that transition shade perfectly. So anytime I go in with a transition shade, or even to just set the lid with a skin tone shadow, I'll just use this brush, and it gets the job done super quick and blends it out seamlessly. So I recommend getting this one. Now I have two brushes from Morphe here that are very similar to the MAC 224 if you're looking for a cheaper alternative. The Morphe M441 is almost identical. It's, again, it's a natural fibered brush, but you can see here that they are practically the same brush. So if one of them is dirty, I will use the other. They're very interchangeable. I just thought, you know, this is a cheaper alternative, but the quality is still the same. I love using this for a transition shade. Sometimes I'll even use both of these in a makeup look. If I am applying a, you know, deeper transition shade, I'll apply it, and then I'll take a clean blending brush and blend it all out. So it's always good to have multiples of your favorite blending brushes, just because you can apply with one and blend out with a clean brush to get that seamless finish with the other. These two are my top favorite brushes for applying a transition shade and just blending everything out to melt all the colors together. This one is the Morphe M518. This one, compared to the Morphe M441, it's a little bit skinnier. So this would be like the second brush that I would go in with. It's this one right here. It's a little dirty, or it's stained, but it's just a little bit skinnier, and so it's a little more tapered, and so you get a little more of a precise application. So say I was applying like MAC Soft Brown all over with a bigger brush, and then I'll go in with the Morphe M518 with just one shade darker, and that's when you can really build up your colors and get a flawless transition. So I like having multiple different sizes of different brushes, just so that way I can get a flawless blend. And so that would be the only reason why I would have both of these, is just because I find it's easier to blend things out. My philosophy is the darker the color you go, the smaller the brush. So they're just slightly different in size, but it really does make all the difference when applying the shadow. Now, another favorite blending brush of mine, this one is smaller than the MAC brush and the Morphe brush, but it's still on the same like fluffiness level. It is the Luxy 205 tapered blending brush, and I have two of them, so that's why I'm showing you two of them. But this is one of my just all-time favorite blending brushes, because like I said, you cannot have enough blending brushes. It's always good to have a clean one on hand to blend everything out, and just multiples, because one day I may want to do a really colorful eye and use a bunch of blending brushes, and then the next day I'm like, oh crap, all my brushes are pink and orange, so I need another blending brush for my browns. So I mean, ideally, should you get all these brushes? Sure, if you want to be like top of your game. But in real world, do you really need all these blending brushes? No. But you can see the difference between these two. This is the MAC 224 and this is the Luxy 205, and I find that this one is just incredibly soft, and it just gets right there and just blends it. Now, what I really like about the Luxy blending brushes is that whenever I look at it from above, it's not flat, but I can really get into the crease and diffuse right there directly in the crease, and then I can like turn it to the side and kind of diffuse it up towards the brow bone. So these are really awesome versatile brushes. I can do an entire makeup look with these and be done and out the door. So I really, really enjoy these blending brushes. This one right here is very small. This one is the blending brush that I like to use when I'm using like either a deep brown or like a black. Sometimes I'll use this, the Morphe M514, and it's a teeny tiny pointed, it's more like a precision blending brush. So if I'm going into that crease with a really, really dark color, I'll take this one and apply it, and it just it applies it opaquely, but then diffuses the edges because it's a blending brush. So this one is amazing as well. Now, everybody under the sun has the MAC 217. This is just a staple. I feel like if you are buying brushes, just go get you a MAC 217 or the Morphe M433, which is a cheaper alternative. But then again, they're both on that same level of quality. They're identical. I really like using these because they're flatter, so they're really good. Again, it's almost like using the Morphe M514. They really get in there and have a precise blend. So these are really good too. I feel like if you have at least one of these, you can pack shadow on the lid. You can blend out color in the crease. So you can turn it long ways because they are like pinched. So you can turn it long ways and put in a transition shade. Then you can take a deeper shade, turn it to its side where it's more pinched, and apply a deeper shade, and then go in with the color all over the lid with the flat part of the brush, and you've got an eye look. So these are really versatile as well, where you can kind of create an entire eye look with them. Now, going on the route of more of like a pencil brush, I really, really enjoy these ones from Morphe. The Morphe E17 is a fluffy, dense pencil brush. I really like using this to diffuse color on my lower lash line. So I'll take it and just, it applies me a nice smoky blown out lower lash line, and I really like that about this. I can also use this to apply a really deep color into the outer corner and pat it in because it's really dense, so it'll make the color really opaque, and then I'll go in with one of my blending brushes and blend it out. So the Morphe E17 is probably my favorite pencil brush. And then the Morphe M507, this one is my favorite brush to apply black with. So if I'm applying black in my outer corner, I will go to this guy just because he is tapered, he's pointy at the tip, but he's also fluffy, but he's not super fluffy. He's still got a little bit of, you know, density to him. So I really like this because it's really, really precise because of its point, but it really packs on the black as well and can blend it out. So this one is my favorite brush to apply black in the outer V with. Also, it's really good for smoking out the lower lash line or applying like an inner corner highlight. So this one's very versatile as well. As far as like a flat packing brush goes, my favorites are both by MAC. This is the MAC 239. This one is just a flat natural fibered brush. This one's really good if you're going to use like a loose pigment or like a foiled eyeshadow. I load this brush up, spray it with some Fix Plus, and I can just pack it on the lid. So I really, really like this brush. Now, the MAC 242 is a synthetic fibered brush, and it's perfect for applying concealer to like carve out the brow, or like if you're applying a paint pot on the lid, it's perfect for carving out a cut crease. So this one I really like using for cream products, and this one more for powder. For liner, surprisingly enough, it is this Tarte brush right here that came with my Tarteist eyeliner. The one that comes in like this squeezy, almost looking lip, or looks like a lip gloss tube. So that Tarteist, I think it's the clay paint liner, something like that. But this came with it, and it has been my favorite liner brush ever since. The brush that came with it is amazing. It's actually bent, so I feel like I can really be precise with it because it gets right there at the lash line. And I don't know if they sell this individually. If they do, I will leave a link to it down below. But if they don't, I recommend just buying the eyeliner for the brush. I use this anytime I do a liquid, not liquid, but like a gel liner. This is the one that I reach for. It's just super precise, it's tiny, and I can really, I just love it. It's really lightweight too, so when it comes to like flicking out your wing, it just makes it so easy. So love this brush. And last but not least, the Morphe, I believe this is the E20. It's kind of rubbed off, but it is an eyebrow brush. And it's double-ended, so it has a spoolie on one end, and then this other end is the eyebrow brush. It is amazing. It's super duper thin, which is something that I had a hard time finding whenever I was shopping around for an eyebrow brush, because they all seemed pretty thick, but this one is super duper thin. I actually will use this for winged liner sometimes. If I want it to be a little bit thicker, I'll skip out on the Tarte one and I'll use this. So this one, again, is pretty versatile. I use it for liner and for my brows. But especially if you're one of those girls that likes to do either powder or gel for your eyebrows, this will get you really precise, really awesome brows. And I can really create, since it's so thin, I can create those hair strokes with it as well. So yeah, this is my all-time favorite brow brush. I don't use anything else. So yeah. Okay guys, so those are all of my holy grail brushes that I honestly, out of all of the brushes that I own, those are pretty much the ones that I will reach for. Unless they are disgustingly gross and dirty, I won't reach for anything else. So those are my top brushes right there. I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't like them, obviously. So if you enjoyed this video and were able to get some new brush ideas for ones that you want to go out and buy, add to your kit, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.